Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. I am your host, LeLeith Tomlinson. Well, when I reflect on the month of June, June is such a special month. It's like you have lots of weddings, and there are a lot of persons who are born in June as well. But I'm a little bit. But I thought about it today that as we look on life and I look at those moments of the wedding, the anniversaries, and stuff like that, which are very prevalent in the month of June, I said to myself that amidst all that is happening, and people are hustling and are in the busy race of life, how often have we stopped to appreciate the small things in life? You see, sometimes you can get so caught up in the great accomplishment, the aha moments, that you don't stop to recognize en route to that aha moment, the simple things that happen that now makes this aha moment special. My viewers, I am reflecting as I speak to you on a bouquet. And when I think about a bouquet is made up of several single roses. And maybe that rose by itself was just, awesome. But when we look at the end product of a bouquet and the different flowers that came together, the coronations, the roses, the baby breath, all of them that came together to make the orchids, whatever the arrangement is, all the different pieces that came together to make that bouquet beautiful. Then when we kind of dissect it and look at those small things, we're able to appreciate small moments and small wins, we call them, in life. And so I want to just say this, that many times it is the little things that can make a big difference. It is the simple things in life that truly counts. I don't know, I was speaking to someone the other day about her taking a vacation, and she went to the country, and just the small things, they're going back to just appreciating some simpler things. And she said, wow, those are the things that, not being in the country now, those are the walks, those when there was no light, we still want those, we want the modernness, or the things that come with a whole modern society. But at the same time, sometimes when we reflect on the fun memories, it is the small little things that seem insignificant, that makes a whole lot of difference. So we're going down into the discussion. So I want to say to us today, we're halfway in the year. This June is the 6th month. I want to say to all my viewers this afternoon, just step back a little and reflect and be grateful. Appreciate the small things. You're still en route to buying your own home. You're still en route to buying your car. You haven't seen the 3 million yet, or the 10 million, whatever that cost is, but you still might have something in the bank. And for those of you who still haven't reached anywhere at all, it's all still in your mind, a concept, still pursue that concept, because it is the baby steps, right? A journey begins with a single step, right? A wall, even the Great Wall of China, it began with a simple brick being laid. So as my mom would say, Rome was not built in a day. So sometimes we like to look at people and their accomplishments, and we want to say, wow, you're lucky, you're fortunate. But if they had a chance to relate their story to you, you would know that this didn't just all happen. And before I go any further as well, I want to say big ups to my friend and someone who invested so heavily in the Sip and Chat, to Odette Ball, one of my friends, who gave me this little token, my Sip and Chat package. And I was so grateful. And I'm going to tell you why this is so significant, right? Sometimes in our lives, I hope we can all get a good look at it so well. Well, it was actually had on more decorations, but because of the color contrast, we had to take it off. But talking about appreciating moments, sometimes in the heat of something, especially if it's something that's negative, you're not able to appreciate it, right? But sometimes, as you stay true to your calling and your purpose, you recognize that this was for that. And if this didn't happen, it could have given birth to that. Whatever your this was or whatever year that was. So let me share the story about my friend Odette. Odette was working at a very prominent company. And, companies just like to use these fancy terms that they're making people redundant, right? Well, they will say they're not making you redundant. They're making the role redundant. Even though sometimes when you look back, clearly they thought they were making you redundant because the same work that you used to do, you recognize that same work is now being done by 2 or 3 or 4 persons, right? That's the reality of life sometimes. However, it happens, right? But you don't stay there. So what happens is that my friend lost her job. And when she lost her job, I remember us sitting down together and she, even in the midst of all of it, confusion and everything and what next, she started to dig deep within her to say, what are my giftings? What are my talents, And as she delved deeper into her inner self, she recognized that, whoa, I've been doing this other thing, preparing gifts for people, decorating baskets and so on, like a little side thing. What if I really spent more time marketing my skills and then be able to use it as a source of income? And ladies and gentlemen, this is a reflection of our now very booming business. And I will show you different pieces of what she has done. But I say this to say that sometimes we can get so caught up in one chapter of our life that for whatever reason, we need to understand that page that you're on is not the end of your story, and be able to pick up and move to the next chapter of your life. And there are many viewers who are there today. It might not have been a job loss. It could have been a relationship that went bad. It could have been just about anything. And you're thinking, how do I move from this place to the next place? You need to understand that you have what it takes. And there's a scripture that I like that says, greater is he that is inside of us. And sometimes our inner man, our inner man or ourselves are our worst enemy. We keep telling ourselves, even when we have a stadium of people applauding us and saying, yes, man, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Sometimes we are raging this war between our subconscious and our consciousness, and whereas one voice is saying, go ahead. I know I'm getting very Freud is in the Freud terms, but sometimes it's so real, where this inner self is fighting against the outer man and one is saying you can't do it, one is saying you can do it. But I always remember Philippians 4 verse 13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that is why I say tap into your inner man and just go back and remember the small things that made a little difference in your life. That small comment that somebody said to you, that says to you, you know how beautiful you are? And that was enough fuel to see you moving from that rut, from that place of, I can't do this, I can't make it, but you were able to pull yourself together and you were able to move to your next level. Ladies and gentlemen, some simple things that make a whole lot of difference. And sometimes it's moments that are small that makes a big difference. Sometimes it's people that other people regard as insignificant. Sometimes it's a lady who does the ancillary work at your office that says something to you. And just some things that might have been insignificant will resonate with you and give you that added momentum to go, that drive. And I also think about small things that make a big difference. And I'm thinking about a small word, the buts. People will say you can't do this, but somebody said, but you can. Those small little words, the but that made a difference in your life. When you thought everything was out and done, but somebody gave you a hope, but somebody invested in you. Small little word, 3 letters, but it makes a whole lot of difference, right? And it's so profound. And I think if we get back to a place where we just start to look at some simple things that can really transform lives. I think also about the small word. It's 4 letters, and we said June is a month of love. And that's my 4 letters for today. That is so powerful. I mean, love can transform any situation. I'm sure you can see me beaming right now, because I've had in my time of work to interact with a lot of people who felt like they were nobodies, like nobody cared for them. But as we begin to, first of all, help them to have self-love. You see, ladies and gentlemen, nobody can love you if you don't love yourself, because the reason you don't love yourself is that you keep telling yourself that you're not valuable. you're not valuable. So if somebody comes and says to you that they love you, you're going to think that it is, oh, here he goes again, or here she goes again. Or as a matter of fact, you're almost going to think that that person wants something from you. I'm going to tap into some views of too many psychologists, and they're going to give you some views as well, just about 5 or so minutes on how important self-love is. And a lot of our children today suffer because they have not been in a position and taught that one of the first thing that they need to do is understand who is most important in the room. Huh? And this is not about arrogance. This is about understanding your place and your right to be here. Because if you don't love yourself, again, I reiterate, even if somebody tries to love you, you can't, you're suspicious because you don't think you're worth it. You must know your price and your worth at the table. And anytime you're at the table and you're not valued, you need to change your seat. You need to be asked to excuse. So as we celebrate this month of June, which is a month of love and anniversaries and birthdays and so on, I want to really emphasize the small things that make a difference. And we're talking about love. Now we talk about small things. My general theme today, the small things that makes a big difference. You know what? I think about as well about the things that we do for people. You know, sometimes when you talk to couples as well, they will say, I think my husband doesn't like me. And you'll say, why? Because that lady's husband, she gave her a ring, and that lady's husband, he did this, or that lady's wife did that. But what are the things that are most touching if you ask that person? Because there are persons who are lacking nothing. They have every single thing that they need. But a simple expression of love, which is oftentimes to be vocalized to them, never exists. So we have to understand that some simple things can make a difference. And I think also about the story, one of my favorite stories about the prodigal son. And one of the reasons why this story is so profound is because when I think about the story, I think about how the young man, he made his decision to go back home. And that's important. When he came to himself, he decided to go back home. But look at the love of the dad. The story is that when his father saw him a way off, his father ran to him. Love pushed him to the point of to the empty place. When he saw his son, he never saw someone who had disobeyed him, who had walked out on the family, who had violated the laws of the society, but he saw his son. So love, those simple little expression of moving towards your child, affirming your spouse, saying something, it matters, ladies and gentlemen. It does. And we have become a society where we become very materialistic, and we're assuming that everybody should know that we love them, those who in our circle, and everybody should understand that you're working hard because you want to make them happy. But what is happiness, right? We look at some of the most affluent people in the world, and one of the things that we recognize as we read their autobiography is that they were so empty, their lives were so void of true love. So those people around us, we want them to say to us every day, and I'm saying this to our spouse, I'm saying this to our dad, I'm just saying it to people. If you're a manager sometimes, your staff wouldn't mind if you say to them, I appreciate you. Simple little things. A simple sentence, it costs you nothing, right? So even if you're going to wait until Christmas to do something, in between that point, between December and December, it's good to say, I appreciate you, or you're valued. Or as you discuss how we made this profit, to say to that person, this was your contribution in this great accomplishment, and it is valued. The simple things that can make a whole lot of difference. And I just want to say this to you, enjoy the little things. For one day, you may look back and realize they were the big things. I don't know if you've had children in your house, and they make a lot of noise and they give a lot of trouble, but whenever they leave and they go to college or they go to a friend's house for a little extended time, you all of a sudden, you wish you could have noise. Or if your child is ill and they can't move around and do what they used to do, even though probably those things used to annoy you, It's basically like you'll do anything now just to be annoyed, right? So it is so important for us to savor moments. Life is made up of moments, memories, and occurrences. Come on now. So it was the occurrence of the father seeing his son that was so memorable, because he remembered that this is my son and he's supposed to be a part of my family. And as the boy said as well, at his house, there are so many hired servants who has more than he has. Moments, births, weddings, and, accomplishments, graduations, and so on. Let us become a nation that while we are trying to press towards accomplishing the big goals, we focus on the small little things around us. All right. They all add up to create a big picture. It's like those kind of coverings that you have small pieces, but quilts. But when they come together, the tapestry is just so amazing because the small pieces come together to complement the bigger picture. The bigger picture could not be made without the small moments that bring it all together. Whether it is a stranger giving you a compliment or watching the sunset with a loved one. These memories are forever ingrained in our brain, and these are the moments that we remember. I've always said to people, you need to create moments. That's something that I'm very big on. Create moments. And creating moments is not always about money. Right? It's not always about money. Sometimes it's just going out on your veranda, just having a tea and just giving some jokes or something, getting some ice cream, and you talk about a lot of people in their homes, they have these nice fancy gifts that they got from a wedding or a birthday. They never take them out. You need to take all those things and make your own designs. We don't always get a chance to go to a hotel as regular as we want to, but we can create our own moment. I have a friend on the day, she said she and her sister, they're going to Europe. And somebody might say, you're rich, you're wealthy, how come you're going to Europe? But you know what? She said to herself, I live but once. And yes, I'm saving, I'm ambitious, I have goals. But while I'm yet moving towards those goals, why can I not have a little enjoyment? Huh? Why can I not just enjoy myself? So that's what we're saying to you, ladies and gentlemen. We need to find more time. And as the psychologist before me have said, we need to learn to appreciate the small things in life. Because even as children get older and they leave the home, in their moments of feeling lonely, so it is those small things that they're going to sit in their little silos and they're going to smile about. All right? It's time for us to smile a while and give our face a rest and raise our hands, man, to the ones you love the best. Just enjoy life. Shake off sometimes. A lot of us, we're carrying so much weight, the weight of the cost of living. Yeah, those are real issues, but you're still alive, right? So it's time for you to shake off some of that weight and be able to smell the roses, man. Enjoy yourself in the now. Don't put off everything for later, but try to enjoy life in the now. There are so many ways to find happiness in life. The first way is to find joy and appreciation in the small things. And there is another thing that I saw the other day that says, when you think of an ocean, it looks so big, isn't it? But have you ever thought about it, that it is the small little drops that comes together to make the big ocean? Ladies and gentlemen, as we are here this afternoon, I want to say to every person, remember this. You need to stop and smell the coffee. Enjoy your life. Yeah? Enjoy the moments. Play with your children. This year alone, I was looking at the death rate for this year. And we are moving so fast. And the number now is much higher than at the end of 2023. More than 2023. More than even in the COVID period. So many strange things are happening. So it's important for us to be able at this time to really enjoy what life has to offer to us and take a little break from some things that we're doing. You always find it so funny that you have somebody, you do something like you go to a hotel or you just hang out with some friends you haven't seen for a long time and you tell us, listen, man, this was so good. We're going to do it more often. We're going to put it on our calendar. But as soon as we move away from that space, we get so caught up in what we have to do that we forget about the commitment that we made to ourselves. So that is what we need to look on and we need to be concerned about. Are we enduring life? or are we enjoying life? Are we enduring life or are we enjoying life? And again, I want to move away this myth. I know that money is important, but you can still have a good life. When I say a good life, a life that you are comfortable with without having the zillions of dollars. You understand what I'm saying? Because it happens. But we don't want you to go through life just moaning and being pitiful and so on. We want you to be able to enjoy life. And that's what we try to do here at Sip and Chat, to try to encourage people to enjoy the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. The earth is indeed the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. So we have to find different ways to be able to sometimes even talk to our situations that seem dim and dull around us and understand that your weeping may also endure for a night, but guess what? Your joy is going to come in the morning. So you chin up, man, chin up. I'm talking to somebody this afternoon. Chin up, yeah, and be able to embrace life and enjoy what God has given to you. So, and if you're at a stage in your life where you're probably not working, and find something around the house to do. Is it gardening? What is it that you love to do that will take up some of your time instead of just being melancholy, right? A small action is taking one small or tiny step towards your dream. Every morning is what matters the most to actually reach your goal and not get stuck in daydreams about some kind of future success. That's very important. So you can think about something, but you have to learn to see, okay, this is where I am. I need to do so and so to get to where I want to go, but I'm going to enjoy it in the now. No, there's a difference between frivolity and just making waste and so on. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are saving up everything for that almighty rainy day. That rainy day might never come, or you might not live to see the rainy day, but while you're in the sunshine, come on, while you're in the sunshine, enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the sunshine. All right? It's so important. So you might have your money, you need to buy a car. It's not at the car party yet. It's not that's not the amount you have. You've been to the lot, you see what you need. Don't be discouraged. Press on and pursue your goal. Pursue happiness. Pursue happiness. So as we wrap up today, I just wanted to be very engaging with somebody today who is just going through life, having regrets, remorse, and so on. Find something in that time in your life where something was really remarkable, and zero in on that and get some energy, some real nice energy from that. I told you about my friend Odette. She could have just really caved in and say, I just feel like a loser. But she used her giftings and her talent to create a remarkable business. What's happening to you today? Are you feeling that life has robbed you and you're deprived and nothing is happening? Shake off that spirit. Shake off that attitude. Remember, your attitude, it influences your altitude. And if today the sun didn't shine in your direction, you need to understand it will shine again. So you need to be in a position to be able to receive success. And that's important as well, because a lot of times when something bad happens, because we have we have taken away ourselves from life itself and refuse to go back out there. When the next series of success comes along, we're not able to embrace it because we're still mourning. We're still mourning over yesterday. It was the Apostle Paul that says, this one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind and press towards the mark of the high calling. The little things that make a whole lot of difference. So get your handkerchief, your imaginary handkerchief. Wipe away yesterday and decide, listen, I may be delayed, but I'm not denied. I have been through enough to understand that all things are possible. I've got to dream again. I've got to live again. The story is told about a raisin in the sun. So many persons had their hopes built on this one money. The daughter, the son, everybody was looking to one person with the money. And then one person took the money and made a bad investment. But what happens to a raisin in the sun? Does it wilt and rot? We just got to understand that sometimes we just got, like we'd say in our Jamaican parlance, we just got to wheel and come again. And understand that where there is a will, there is indeed a way. I think about as well the small things that make a whole lot of difference. And sometimes the way how things happen, they just don't look like they make no sense to you. The woman, there was the story told about this woman who was at the edge of the city about to cook her last meal and die. Her last meal. And then she had an encounter with a prophet. And the prophet didn't say, wow, your last meal and you're going to die? No, he said the most unbelievable thing to her. He said to her, bake me a cake first. Now, I can imagine that woman must be like, what? But it was coming from a prophet. So she obeyed the prophet. And the rest is history. She never lacked anything. All right? So sometimes the small things that makes a major difference in our lives. You're saving, one cocoa will fill your basket. So everything, the little things that matter is what we want to focus on today. A lot of people don't focus on the ant, but look at those small little ants. They work together, and together they can move large masses of things when they come together. Small little ant, but can still be impactful. So today, I don't know what is it that you're pursuing or how you feel emotionally and mentally, but never forget, don't allow the moment to go by without focusing on the small things. The small things that can make a whole lot of difference. It says, learn to appreciate small, quiet moments, the ocean, a walk on the beach, time alone, your health, your strength, your smile. Sometimes you don't even recognize how strong you are, or your smile. I remember, there was a time in my own life when I just felt sad about something. I felt disappointed and everything. And somebody came to me and was like, why are you sad? And I said, I can't bother with this anymore. And the lady said to me, you can't afford to be sad. So many people are relying on your smile. Small things that make a whole lot of difference. All right. So without water drops, there can be no ocean. Without steps, there can be no stairs. So pause a little bit right where you are this Sunday afternoon and just appreciate the small things around you. Do you even recall when you were starting your home? You probably had one couch, you probably had just a TV. It wasn't even a smart TV. But look at you now. So even though you want a home theater, you're not there yet, but appreciate the small things and look back. Because when you're able to reflect on where you're coming from and see where you are, you know that the future is not as impossible as you think it would have been. Because when you think of where I'm coming from and where you are today, you recognize that you just got to keep pressing, because all things are possible. And never forget about my friend Odette. In a moment of disappointment and grief, it gave birth to our very, very thriving business. My producer is going to run it on the website, run it along so you can see. But very, very good initiative. Out of darkness and gloom can come something good. Always remember those old-time photographs. They could not develop unless they were placed in a dark room. The lovely picture you wanted to see could not evolve unless that photographer took it in a dark room. And in that dark room, that it was able to be transformed from a blank page, and you see the characters coming alive. You want to come alive in this season. You need to understand that that dark experience was to bring you to this level. Your this was for that. Your that rather was for your this. Until next time, wow, let us continue to sip and chat, because I know lots of you out there are about to go into your freshness, your new season, and greatness awaits you. Until next time, let us continue to sip and chat.